we're making our farms better.
It's a matter of semantics. Robert Alpers takes excellent care of the land he farms. It's the land that was farmed and cared for by generations before him. But Robert has a problem with what he calls a buzzword to describe farmers' collective concern for preserving land for farmers who will scout those fields far into the future.
Sustainability. It's a word that I really don't like because to me sustainability is status quo. My name is Robert Alpers, and I farm Prairie Home, Missouri, which is in the southern part of Cooper County.
Tell me about your farm, Robert.
Well, it's been our family for just shy of 100 years. My grandparents started it, but with the Depression and everything, it just didn't work out well. And actually then my parents is the ones that really got the farm started and going. Then my brothers and I, as we got older, we began farming. Now we have a next generation that's farming our ground.
I'm Tom Stever. On this edition of Missouri Soybeans Spotlight Podcast, we'll take a closer look at the role conservation plays in Missouri agriculture and in keeping Missouri farms sustainable. In the years that you've been farming, what has conservation meant to you, Robert?
Well, conservation is a way to save our most valuable resource, and that's our soil. We want to keep it in place. We want to keep it productive. We just want it ready for the next generation. And we want it better.
Here's where semantics comes into play. While Alpers is a strong believer in conservation, he's not so wild about the term sustainability.
I'll just tell you, that word is used a lot, and I know the reasoning and what's behind it, but if I was just being sustainable, I'd be doing the same thing as what my parents did. And we're not. We're just doing better. So I think we need to add a word or two to it, like sustainability plus or more than sustainability, because that's what we're doing. We're making our farms better, not just the status quo.
Even if he doesn't think much of the term sustainability, as Robert Alpers says, even he agrees with the sentiment and the spirit behind sustainability. After all, Missouri Soybeans Director of Conservation Ag and Farm Operations, Clayton Light, can hardly mention conservation without mentioning sustainability.
If you look at conservation, it ties hand in hand with sustainability. And sustainability is something that can be defined many different ways. But, if you look at sustainability as keeping a farmer profitable, keeping their farm operating into the future, conservation programs tie right into that. Keeping a healthy soil, keeping good care of the land is key to being sustainable. So when we look for research projects, we're really looking at, is there conservation that is realistic for farmers to use and keep them sustainable into the future?
Enter the Farm for Soy Innovation, the new name for what used to be referred to as the Bay Farm Research Facility. A lot of checkoff-funded research at the farm has conservation ties. That's according to Missouri Soybeans Conservation Programs Manager Brady Lichtenberg.
For example, a lot of research goes into fertility rates and fertility plans. It's certainly a very common conservation practice to get a fertility plan or enroll in a 4R fertilizer program just to ensure that you're not over-fertilizing or under-fertilizing your fields, which all in all, definitely good for the environment. There's also a lot of research that goes into managing crop rotations with things like cover crops and no-till agriculture, things like that. A lot of this research can certainly help farmers navigate adoption and taking on a new conservation-related practice.
Just as his conservation practices have improved since his grandparents and his parents farmed, Alpers is confident that today's and tomorrow's farmers will continue to learn and improve methods of conservation.
I think you're going to see a lot more legume cover crops so that with the prices, the way things are now, it would help provide more of the nitrogen. I think just the nutrient recycling, we're going to learn more about it and which cover crops help that more. For us, we don't do much. We do some, but we don't do a lot of no-till in corn because we still struggle with our nitrogen, the placement. And I think as we get better with that, we'll start no-tilling more corn also. We pretty well no-till all the beans. In our river bottom ground, we've put underground tile in and graded it so that the water doesn't pond and it can get away. We're doing something every year, it seems like, and then there's just a lot of maintenance too, cleaning out around terrace pipes and that. So it's an every year event to do something to make the farm better.
Indeed, for the benefit of all farmers and everyone else who depends on soil and water, Alpers works closely with the Missouri Soybean Checkoff to learn better ways to keep water clean and to keep soil where it's supposed to be.
When that water leaves our farm, we want it to be clean and clear. And we've done some research with soybean where we're tracking the nutrient loss and see where it's at. And if what we're doing is working, and we've been doing that project now for 5 or 6 years and collecting data to make sure that the water that's leaving our farm is what it's supposed to be. And we want to be more resourceful with our nutrients and use them more timely, maybe more often, so that we don't have a big rain and then lose a lot of nutrients into the watershed. I think a lot of farmers are doing that, not just us. I think as a whole, agriculture is just doing better every day.
It's the same for Robert Alpers, who agrees that the entire exercise of soil and water maintenance and conservation is a learning process.
Absolutely, every day. Every day.
Robert Alpers farms in Cooper County near Prairie Home, Missouri. Find this and other editions of the Missouri Soybean Spotlight wherever you get your podcasts. We're also on the air with the weekly Spotlight on Soybeans, brought to you by Missouri soybean farmers and their checkoff. Thank you for listening. I'm Tom Stever.